We're almost done. Well, we kind of are done. This is our last broadcast of the portions for this year. I can't believe, Rebecca, we're done. It's finishing up in Sukkot. And even though Ha'azinu is not as the very, very last one, it kind of is because, I mean, the very last one, it's kind of funny because you like read it on Simchat Torah and then you're already in Bereshit. So it's kind of like, I feel like it's one of those ones you don't really read. You like get through really fast and you don't really study it because you can't wait to jump into Bereshit already because it's
That's how I feel. Like I'm excited, like to start again.
like, yeah. Yeah. Let's just get done. Let's just get, getting started again is a really good thought. Is some of you, I do a growth plan. Do you kind of do a growth plan or goals or something coming up for the new year? Do you have one? Yeah, I call it my growth plan, and I set intentions for the year. And the reason I say growth plan is because I want to grow, and there's things, spiritually, mentally, physically. Uh, Rebecca, did I even send you a picture of I got a desk treadmill. So it came yesterday. It
I've
is
been
under
thinking
my
about
desk. So
that.
I have a standing desk and then I have the treadmill that's under here. So I have to just move my little chair aside and then I pull it out and then I can do my walking because I have made myself accountable to all of you that I am going to this is going to represent the excellence of God this year. And it isn't about losing weight or anything. I just need the stamina. I need the energy to do all the things that the Father has put on my heart. And I also feel like I haven't been a good steward of this. I have a treadmill.
I love it. And trust me, I've been like, my fingers been like this on the button to like to
Do you have a
put,
standing desk?
No, I don't, but I will make it work.
I'm telling you, for those of you who work from home or whatever, I have the one where you set it on your desk and you go cook, cook. You know what I mean? You put your stuff on there and you turn any desk into a standing desk. And don't waste your money. Just go, like Costco has these desks, and I love this desk. And you just push the button and it goes for me. And it used to have settings, so it can be standing or sitting. And I love this so much. So yesterday I got my 10,000 steps in. It was so easy. All I had to do is push my button, bring it up higher. I pull my treadmill out. It's just right here under my desk. I can't move my computer to show you guys, but I'll send a picture. And it's so easy. It's not in the way. And I just start walking. I had it standing up and I was doing work and walking. And I thought, I can't, I can't chew gum and walk. How am I going to walk and type? And I was listening to teachings. I was being able to study. I actually could even write. And I was walking and I did like 11,000 steps. Watch
I
out,
want to be
people.
like you, and I want to be when I'm big. I want to be like you.
Well, hopefully it doesn't take you till you're 54 to do this.
Oh Lord
Oh
knows.
my gosh. So part of that growth plan is not to grow anymore, but it's to grow to grow spiritually. And some of you, maybe if that's part of your growth plan, can I just really encourage you to hop over to therootedcafe.com. Check out, we have a 7-day free trial. Go look at it just to see what's in there. You can go down and look at all the amazing teachers that we have in there. You can listen to some of the things just on our website. Even just go on the website and there's blogs on there that are free. There's teachings we have that are free. All the portion videos in there are free. Just go in there and just spend some time in it this next week. But I want to encourage you to really think about, how are you going to grow spiritually this year? Are you going to do something like the creation gospel? Are you going to jump into something like that and take that on? And if you're like, well, I know that they left yesterday for Keisha and Halisa just left yesterday for Israel. So everyone keep them in your prayers as they're traveling in the next week and going through Israel during Sukkot. They're excited. But I want you to um, think about, what are you going to do to grow? So if want to do something like creation gospel, you could, even though they're not doing a class right now, you can you could go to YouTube and watch them. You could get the workbook and then watch it from YouTube. Halisa has those recorded, so you could watch them and then get into a class. Because if you're like me, I probably need to see it like twice. Like I have to watch her do it, read the book, I have to watch it, and then I have to then hit the class. Keisha's will probably start another class in January, maybe. I don't know. Have you even looked at Creation Gospel, Rebecca?
This is new
Be
to me.
afraid. Be afraid.
Really?
So, well, you would love it and your mom would love it. I think this would be something really great. And I think it would be great for something for you guys to do even in your congregation. And you could have, I mean, and once you go through it, they certify people as, instructors. So you just go in and take a test. And I mean, they give you a little test, and basically you're going through the menorah, and you're showing the days of creation through the menorah. She's the seven spirits. I mean, you're going through Genesis to Revelation all through the 7 days of creation. And so she teaches the creation gospel. So again, you could go to YouTube, then go to look at creation gospel and watch the videos in there. So the reason I'm saying this, I want you guys to commit to some type of a growth plan this year. And I'm going to speak to you about the spiritual part of it and your spiritual education. How are you growing in Torah? How are you growing in his word? And not just, of course, we love that you show up, but Rebecca, right? You have to get in there and learn how to do this yourself.
It's like being in a car and going somewhere. If you're not the person that's driving, you won't remember how to get there necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're the one driving, you pay attention. You're like, oh, okay, at this pharmacy. Oh, okay, at this turn. Oh, there was a tree there. You know, all these little things that you kind of they stick in your head, and you're like, I can get there again if I have to. But
Yeah.
if you're just letting somebody else drive, you may be getting there along with them, but you won't remember how to get there yourself. Not
No,
as
no,
easily.
no. And there's something that we, we've already went through the verses a couple weeks ago. It's not too hard for you. And I want to I want to speak against that in the name of Jesus, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, all the things. It is not too hard for you. So you aren't going to believe that lie this year that you're not going to shake it off. It's not too hard for you.
God said it. He said, "Is this word too hard for you? So, or is it too high that you could say I can't reach it? Is it too? I can't." He's like, "Nope, it's right here."
It's right
You
here.
know,
It's right in front. And he's written it on you. It's with you. So I want to encourage you that if you need help with that, knowing that the Rooted Cafe, one of the things is we are a women's discipleship ministry. So what we do is we want to hold you accountable. And we're going to be working more on that this year. Teaching, we have classes teaching you the word, teaching you how to study the word, being there for you so that you can actually learn all aspects of your life through the prism and through the focus of Torah. And there's so many great things. If you're homeschoolers, there's so many things in there that I want to encourage you. And you can try it. It's less than $20 a month, but you can try it for free and just see like is and you get a sampling of the classes. And the reason I'm pushing this right now is I need you to choose something to commit to this year. Something that you're going to do. Even if for some of you it might be I'm going to actually read the portion every week. Because that was big for me at first, right? Like the commitment, like, oh, I'm going to be consistent. And I'm gonna not gonna lie, it took me about 3 years before I actually like didn't skip a week. So don't feel bad if that's you out there that you're like, ooh, okay, no, really, this year I'm going to do it. I want to encourage you this year to do it. So, um, yeah. And then we're going into Sukkot, and are going to drop into this Portia. But I wanted to ask you, what are you doing for Sukkot, Rebecca?
so my congregation does it this way. We're cognizant of the fact that sometimes we don't. Our whole family may not participate, or we're by ourselves. There are people that are by themselves, or whatever the issue is. So what we do is we split the nights among our congregation, and that night that congregation is the one who provides the food and the place for us to kind of come together and do it. I would love to go camping. I've always wanted to, but I have like this commitment with church because there's people that can't do that. That
Yeah,
can't. So we do it. So we kind of like there was one year where I think we had 2 weekends where it felt like that's always the best when it has like 2 weekends because the
yeah,
people
yeah.
that work and
It's like
everything they
this
can
year,
participate.
almost like Sunday, but
Yeah.
yeah, eh.
But we have and we had so many families that one year that we were doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we were like traveling from house to house, and by the end we were like, oh, I cannot eat one more thing. It's like this is too hard.
Yeah,
But yeah, so we get together and we split up the nights. And so like my situation with us having lost the house with the flood, we're renting a townhouse right now, so I can't do all the things that I would like to do that I used to do. But and I'm so tired of buying like these tent things and them breaking on me, or they're
oh
they
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm not doing that. So this year I'm doing a light sukkah,
A
which
light,
I'm
like
just using lights, and I'm going to create a sukkah out of lights, and that's it. And we're gonna see
okay.
how it goes, because in my head I can see it. We'll see how it
Oh
plays
my
out
gosh.
in
I can't wait to see the pictures of this because you're so stinking creative. Those of you guys, it's
but
audienceofonecreations.com, right?
yeah.com. But
Audienceofonecreations.com. Go in there, look at all her stuff. Like, I don't have that was yesterday. I had my shirt on, but
yeah, I
um,
saw. But no, so I'm hoping, I'm trying to keep it. I don't know why, but this year for me, I want to keep it simple. I absolutely love all the decorations and the way people do things and deck it out and have fun with it. We've had years where we had people we had a competition of who could build a sukkah, a mini sukkah. And we had
That's
people that
fun.
went like crazy. And every night they would have at the house, they would have their little thing of whatever they did. If they did it with their kids, if I had one couple, it was just the couple and they're, they're an adult couple, whatever. And she went to town, like putting all these little things together. And, it's fun. We do it different ways. But for me this year, I'll say like today I'm doing the Yom Kippur, I'm fasting and stuff like that. And I've just been having such a hard time this year. If anybody else is having a hard time, please let me know. I'm not the only one. But I've been having a hard time because God has been kind of bringing up stuff. And it was interesting when you said the other day, because I was listening on Wednesday when you're like, it doesn't necessarily say that you have to fast. And I was like, I've never heard that before. I never paid attention to that. I've just, traditionally just done the fast. And then I said, that makes so much sense to me. Because for me, the fasting is like the easy thing. Like, okay, I'm just not going to eat for 24 hours. The physical thing, that's easy. But dealing with the junk inside that has to come out and dealing with that stuff, that for me is the hard part. So I've actually been like almost like internal groaning for like days coming up to this because I knew that I was, and it's all good. And can I just say, I was watching a video because I've been thinking about doing a parasite cleanse for some time, and
Oh,
I went to
girl,
the
don't let
university.
me tell you about the rabbit trails on that. Yeah, I
No, but so I went to the university and somebody was talking about it, and she was saying, listen, there are people that have worms that come out of their eyes, that it's so bad. And I was like, do not tell me that, because if there's something in there that is going to come out of my eyes, you can take up residence and you can live there for the rest of your life, because anything that it's like it grossed me out so
yeah.
much.
Or you see the people I mean, this has nothing to do with anything. I hope you all are hanging out with your coffee and you're all hanging out in our living room today. I mean, it's coming out their feet. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I can
but
handle that, but my eye, no.
the point of it was it came up at a time where I'm thinking about all this junk that has to come out of me, because I know that there's stuff that I'm still, dealing with, and that God, and you're constantly growing. And I think that we're like an onion that God peels back layers, and when you're ready to deal with stuff, he kind of brings stuff out and it starts to come out. And so when I saw that, I was like, it disgusted me so much with the parasites. And I'm like, but what about all the spiritual stuff? Like, what about all the emotional stuff? What about all the mental stuff? So for me, the easy part was, okay, don't eat. That's easy. And then when it was like, oh, but it doesn't necessarily say don't eat. It's like the point is afflicting your soul. Like the point is coming to that point where you come to God and say, listen, this is what I am, this is what I have, and I'm coming to you. And I was so thankful that when we talked on Wednesday, I was so thankful when I came to the realization that it does not depend on me, that it depends on his faithfulness and who he is.
Yes.
So it's just, so coming to, so for me, why am I saying that? With Sukkot, I was like, I love all the decoration. And it's my favorite of all the feasts. It's my favorite. And I love it. We always look forward to it. There's certain people in my congregation that make certain foods for that. And we all look forward to it every year. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, God, I just needed to be simple this year, where it's like, I need to know why not need to know why I'm doing it. I just need to remind myself, why am I doing this? It's
Well,
fun.
and
It's
you said
great.
that
It's
last
whatever.
week too. Like, why am I doing this? Like,
Why
why?
am I doing this? What is the point of
That's what
this?
made me jump into all of us posting, including myself, like, may you have an easy fast. And I was like,
It's not supposed to be.
is it a fast? Like, does it say that? And then I went back in and then I read the word affliction and it hit me between the eyes, because I'll recommend you go back and listen to it's in Facebook. You can go on, ask if you don't know where, ask me, I'll show you where, but you can, or Messianic Lamb Network, you can go find it on there. They replay it even on Saturday. But I talked about that word affliction, what that word means, and what is that word. It's not, nowhere does it say you have to fast on Yom Kippur. That's a tradition. Is that bad? No, it might be a
No.
prompt for you, because some of us need to have something as a reminder. I know
Yes.
Crystal was saying she put X's on her thumbs because it was like a reminder, like, okay, yeah, we're not going to be on the phone, or we're not going to do, something that was in front you. Some of us need prompts. It doesn't mean they're bad. They're just a tool to help us. But that whole thing about the affliction, it goes back to, and if you're in the Rooted Cafe, go back into hit the song. We do our class, Psalms 119 every Thursday. Go
Yes.
back to
That's
the
what I
one
was
on
in.
Tet. Go on the one on Tet for I don't know which lesson it is. Let me see. 13, 12, 11, 10, maybe lesson 10ish. Maybe it's on lesson 10, and it's Psalms 119, 65 through 72. And we hear David talking about afflicting himself with that word anah. And I go into that as well. And the picture he gave me when I was studying that word out, an affliction, back when I was doing that, hit me, because I mean, this is how old I am. I really like studied this 2 weeks ago, studied that word affliction out, Rebecca, like it was the only word on the planet. And when I read it about Yom Kippur and I read it, I was like, oh, affliction. Now what's that word? Like I couldn't remember like one thing I read. So then I start reading. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Anah. Oh yeah, I remember. Really?
Please, can I just tell you, you know that I drive the bus in the morning, right? So it's a family member that owns it. So she's like, when we finished up, she's like, okay, let me see what I'm doing. And if anything, I'll call you and we'll go have breakfast. And then so I'm like, all right, yeah, sure, okay. And I'm driving away, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, we're fasting. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're fasting. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I'm being a stumbling block. I'm being a stumbling block. She's like, I'm sorry. But because we need those physical reminders, it's
We
not a
do.
bad thing. It's a good thing. It helps us
Yeah.
to
I mean, if
delineate
you're
and to kind of
fasting,
separate.
it's a way to afflict yourself. And the
But
whole
if you
point of
don't,
that, if you don't, it's okay. And
it's
and
whatever.
it would break my heart, people talking about, well, I'm on medications and what do I do? And do I drink water? And they're not having any water. I'm like, nowhere does it say not to drink water. That is not biblical. That's Jonah's the king during the story of Jonah. That king called a no water fast. He called them to come to this severe repentance because he was afraid
Because
that
of what
God
they
was
were
going to
doing.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember,
Yeah.
he knows Sodom. He knows the story, so he's freaking out. He's like, "What? God has pointed us out. Everything. Everyone, stop everything. Don't drink. Don't eat. Don't
The
nothing."
animals, everything. Yeah.
Nothing because Sodom and Gomorrah, just imagine. So that's what happened back then. Now you may be in a situation in your life where you might feel like you're Sodom or you're that afraid and you're like, I need to just basically lock it in. Do it. But please don't put that on other people. Please don't put
Mhm.
don't put those tools on other people because your tool may not fit in my hand and it doesn't work for me. It's too heavy or too light. I might need something heavier or I might need something
Mhm.
different. But that whole affliction, he keeps reminding me of that picture of it's the work. Do the work. Affliction,
Yeah.
the word anah is the work it takes to cultivate the soil. And there's a crop that comes from that. There's something good that comes from that. There is a light at the end of this tunnel and it's not a train. You're going out and you're like moving the heavy rocks and you're sweating and you're like getting the soil ready. There's a work like you were saying. I got to do the hard stuff, the stuff that makes me sweat. That's what the day is for you. You can set everything aside to be like, I got to do some hard stuff today. Like there's some stuff that my mouth gets me in
Yes.
trouble. Father, what do I need to do today? Like how do we work on this together today? One
And
day a year.
it was such a blessing because I had a friend, and that's why I think that a space like this is so important, because I have a friend who's also, she's a believer, and she was fasting and stuff, and we were able to have a conversation and talk, and stuff came out, and I ended up crying, and I was like, and I said I didn't realize that this was even sitting here, and it wasn't it wasn't like this mortal sin or anything like that,
No.
but it
Yeah.
was definitely something that was I was angry with God about, and I didn't realize that my actions were I was behaving a certain way because I was angry, and I didn't realize how angry I was.
Right.
And the cool thing was recognizing that he's not intimidated by my anger,
He can handle your
and he can
anger.
handle it. And then being able to come to him and say, God, help me in this. I recognize that this is here. Help me in this.
I want to hear from everybody out there. Is there anybody out? I mean, I want you to just be super bold. I hope that we have developed an environment of trust that you could have you ever or I'll say are you currently in a state where you're angry? You're angry. And you're like, I don't understand. I've gone through a phase where I realized I was snarky, I was sarcastic. I mean, just everything was and the bottom line was I was angry. And I needed to
Hmm.
find out why I was angry. And realized I was angry at God. And I
Yeah.
was angry with him and I had to wrestle through that. I want to know, is anybody else going through that? I just talked to someone, very powerful, godly woman, and she was saying, I am just really mad at God right now. And I just need him to help me because, and I was like, isn't it great that he's big enough for that? Because, I mean, Rebecca, you know that I went through this. I went through this stage, and I've given my testimony before about that. But I went through a stage. I was really mad at God. It took me a few years, and I was sitting in a church on a front row, and the pastor was teaching us. The sermon he was teaching about was when Yeshua comes back, and he's talking to the disciples, and showing his hands. He's doing all the things, and he looks over to Peter, and he says, "And you too, Peter." And when he said that, I felt like he looked at me and said, "And you too, Charlie." Because it didn't matter that Peter denied him and that he was angry and that he hid away and whatever. He could handle it. He can
Mhm.
handle our anger. He can handle you being angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot.
that's a humbling thing. That goes back to a couple of weeks ago when we talked about real power, where
Yes.
real power is when you can do something and you show mercy or you don't do.
You
And
don't
the
do it.
real power is that he could completely smite me right here where I
Yes.
sit because I
Yes.
have the nerve to say that I am angry, and yet he doesn't, and he shows me mercy and he shows me love. And that is such a
That's a gift we get from the
powerful thing.
Father. We get that from the Father because you if you use if any of you are listening to Bama podcast, um, it's a great time. That's another growth tool for you. You know, it's free. Go listen to Bama podcast. Start at one for Genesis. Your mind will be blown. You'll just be on the floor like I never knew this, and it I gave it to my dentist to listen to, and he was like, That's kind of intense for me." Marty Solomon is Jewish. Brett Billings, he actually talked to our grit guys, which is free for your guys to jump on if they want to do once a month. They want to do grit. You need to let us know. Ask us how to have them jump on that band, and they can. But he spoke to our guys in grit. It's guys rooted in Torah from the Rooted Cafe, and it's all the guys jump in there once a month for a call, and they do little teaching and get to know each other, and they have their own band channel to kind of have a trust environment like this. But in Bema, he talks about the process of God being so powerful. The thing that made God different is he knew when to say, I'm done. You know, and that you're a creator. How hard is it to stop and say, okay,
Mm,
I'm done? Whether you're
yeah.
writing, whether you're drawing, whether you're creating a course, whether you're creating a sermon. Should I add this one more thing? What about one more story, one more example? Like when you're preparing, when you're teaching, the thing that we have in common with him is he to an extent is, but he knew when to say, it's the whole point of the rest is to say the power to say it's time to stop.
Yeah.
That's what made him different. He could have kept creating, but he knows how to stop the shore when the water comes up and it stops. It knows where to
Yep.
stop.
Mhm.
He knows when enough is enough. He knows when to say it stops. So, I mean, for whoever needed to hear that this morning, that it's okay. And I think that goes along with Ha'azinu. This is not my favorite portion. Can we just say this? I will say it. I've never said that before. This is not
I
my
found it to
favorite
be really
portion.
interesting though.
I mean, it's just not my favorite. I wanted to share with you guys before we go on the people about the sukkah. I mean, and the things for Sukkot. Keep it simple. Don't get crazy. Don't feel bad if you're not doing anything. You can do simple things like just having a picnic outside, make a fort in your living room if you want ideas. If I like telling everyone to tell us what they're doing, and please share pictures of what you're doing because it does help others get ideas, especially if you're new and you're coming in, you're like, I don't know what to do. This is my first year camping. And I put it out there. I told you guys, I put it out there and I just said on a forum, we're going to be at campsite 33 at Prairie Creek in Arkansas at Beaver Lake. And it turns out like 8 families are coming and we're all going to hang out.
That's
Different people are
cool.
going to come join us during the day. I've never done that before. This is my first time. I usually keep this very private and stay at home. So
I I have we had one woman, one young woman, she was a single mom and she lived in an apartment building on the second floor. And what she did is she actually put up a tent in her living room and we sat in that because she had little kids and
I
it
love
was
it.
a good learning
I
experience
love
for
it.
them and she just did her own thing,
I did one in my
and we
garage before. I did it in the
yeah,
garage and we slept in the garage and I put the big tent, the big one, but I put it in the
yeah,
garage, so like we had an
yeah,
extra
yeah.
covering on the covering and we get to the bathroom faster. But I mean, because we didn't have enough room in the backyard. So it was such a little backyard. We were in Colorado, but we did that. I want to encourage you to, so that show what you're doing. It's okay to do something simple, just sitting outside and eating dinner outside. Some fun things you could do that are a little bit on the extra. If you're an extra person, there's things like you guys could join if you have a place where like if your congregation has a parking lot or maybe you have a friend who has a business as a parking lot, get everybody to come and do like a contest or like have uh like they have a trunk sukkah, or you have do something. You could do fun stuff to make it fun. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to, but it can be fun if you want to bring more people in. The other thing I do recommend is if anybody who doesn't have these are like $30, I think, to get when that you sign up. It's like a subscription box kind of thing. This is not Orthodox Jew. I'm going to be clear. So I cannot guarantee all the contents are going to be there might be something in there and you're like, it might be a little more reformed and you're like, but there's so much in here that's so great. So this is the Sukkah one. And this is from last year. So it's a hot mess, but I think I've shared this before with you guys, so I won't go a bunch into it, but it came with a great little book that goes through like the whole reasons why you do it. It gives you all the
Oh, so
things.
cute.
and I mean, it's really nice because you could actually go through and it tells you about building your sukkah, especially if you're new. And by the way, this is part of your tithes. We do a lot of teaching on this as far as tithing and what that really means. It talks about the 4 species, which I want to say, if you don't do this, again, these are traditions, but this 4 species are actually biblical. He does talk about doing this. There's a bunch in this one. They have a bunch of strips to make chains. Oh, a bunch of these kind of little strips would have the peel and stick, but you can have the kids sit around. I have so many of these to make chains. To do the chains, it comes with a little pretend sukkah, I think in here. Is it? It comes with the little flags of the 4 species that you could hang, little flaggy stuff. Some of you are wondering, like, how do you get stuff and you start like your own little collection? It comes with little lights to string lights and little lanterns. I mean, it's a really
That's so
cute
cute.
it's a cute little box for that much money, I think. And it comes with all the things. It comes with the little sticks for it. It comes with, I'm going to make a mess here. It comes with everything though. And it comes with little flags from all the flags, the wave, the Simchat Torah flags. So they have Simchat Torah flags to make. So that's in there. I wanted to share that with you. And no, this is not, I don't get paid to tell you guys about that. I just wanted to let you know
You
that's what
know
I did. Because
what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, no, one thing that we're doing is we don't have enough families this year for every night. So what we're doing is one family lent the night, and then I suggested that everybody do, like those parties where they do like charcuterie boards and everybody has a different theme of what
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
So everybody has to make their own board, and then we're bringing it and we're doing it towards the end when, like I said, we eat so much that everybody's like, I can't eat, like whatever.
I love it.
So at towards the end, we're doing that. So it's like a lighter food, and we're having it there, but everybody can participate and bring their own thing. So it makes it kind of fun. And our congregation is a little bit different in the sense that we study so much that when the feast comes, we really just
Party.
party. So like we'll bring games, and we've had different types of games, and so everybody looks forward to it as like the time where we get together and we have fun and we laugh and we joke, and we study about it during the year and all that kind of stuff, and then when the time comes, we just party.
I mean, yay. I'm excited that you guys do that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, and can I just say, because I know that somebody was mentioning, it's www.audienceofonecreations.com, because some people on Facebook were asking about it, so they asked me to
Oh,
repeat it.
perfect, perfect,
So
perfect.
just let me get that out
Thank you
there,
for that.
and
I'm
I'll
going to
write
share.
it in the chat, so just so you can have it there too.
There's another thing that we have, and I'm thank you all for your grace as we go through this, because there's so many ladies who don't know about some of these things. But if you go on to our website, let's pick to if you go on our website, if you go to the rootercafe.com, there's a store. You click store. We have our cookbook is in PDF format. We sold out of the regular one, but you can download it in PDF, and it is. I'm just scrolling. I know you guys can see it. I'll scooch, but it's by Shabbat, by Pesach, by Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah, and look at the Sukkot, like amazing stuff, great recipes for Sukkot. And they're all healthy. We made sure that they were all healthy. Jen Doobie, which you guys know, she teaches here on for you guys on Thursday, the third Thursday night of the month. Jen was responsible for putting that all together. A lot of the women in the Ruta Cafe donated all their recipes, what they did. But sometimes you just need a tool. You need to be prompted. Okay, final thing. She did it. So I have never done this before. I have never gotten the lulav and the hadass and the aravav and the etrog. I've never done this before. Didn't even, I'm reading this, so don't even pretend like I know how to say the names. Okay. So I've never even done this before. And then in Leviticus 23:40, it says, on the first day, gather branches from the magnificent trees, palm fronds, boughs from the leafy trees, willows that grow by the brooks, and then rejoice before the Lord God for 7 days. So you're supposed to lift it up. And the lulav, this is your teaching today. The lulav, do you guys see that? The lulav is this guy right here. It's the date palm, and it's the spine, and that's for integrity, is what they say. It's the spine. It's for you putting these together. The arava, the willow leaves, are the lips for choosing your words. It's supposed to be about choosing your words, it says. The etrog, the citrus fruit, is about the heart for empathy. And the hadass, the myrtle leaves, are eyes for enlightenment. For those of you in the Ruta Cafe, go back and watch September's biblical oils class. Debbie rocks it, talking about all of these things and the oils that go along with it and what they do in your spirit, what they do in your heart, about all the things. Okay, so are you guys ready for this? I ordered one. Have you ever done this?
No.
I ordered
No.
it. It's from the land. I'm so excited. It
That's
came yesterday.
awesome.
Okay, you guys. So it's in this big giant box. So I'm not going to lift up the box, but here's out of the box. So this is fun.
So fun. I love it.
This
Looks like
is
a
cool.
big lemon.
It, and it doesn't smell like a big lemon. I feel like we're on a, it doesn't, it smells like the mixture of like a mandarin orange and a lemon guy had a baby. That's what it smells like.
Mm.
It smells amazing. I want my house to smell like this. I want, can someone make this essential oil? Because this is amazing. Okay. And I think she talks about mixing oils to smell like this. And then it comes with, hope I don't break anything. This box is huge, so that's why. And it's taped. Oh, I might break things. I mean, it comes with the little things, the little handles that you put all your little guys in for you to do your
Oh,
waving.
that's cute. Yeah.
So come, and then all the all the plants. What's cool to me is that it's actually, we've gotten some that like we pulled palms and we pulled other things, locally. To me, I think it was $30 or something. I bought it this year. Is that it was it's from the land. First of all, I sowed money into the land because I sent money to there to buy something that makes my heart happy. That's also one of the reasons we are going to start getting again they have those boxes you can get from, those, we used to get those all the time. We loved it. We'd get oil and chocolates or whatever seasonings. But the way you can sow, that's part of your tithes, by the way, guys. Saving up for this is part of your tithes, and it's just a lot to teach today. But let's just say
Some
have fun.
Somebody's asking if we can get it here. I know my cousin is married to a rabbi, and they order it, but I think it all comes from over there and they
It
ship it
all
here.
comes from here and it's
Yeah.
shipped here. And you have to do it like I ordered this, I think, over a month ago.
Yeah. You have to
You have
order
to
it with
order it
time.
kind of
Hmm.
soon because it has to go through I mean, it has to go through all the stuff, because I think they
Yeah.
probably have to. Yeah. So next year, put it on your calendar for like, um, put it on your calendar for like the end of August or the 1st of August to order it so that it gets here in time.
Also,
Yeah.
for something to do, if anybody's looking for something to do, there's a great little movie called Ushpizin. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No. Ishbizim.
Ushpizin, and it that
Ushbizim.
is Ushpizin, and it is the story of a couple who were watching it that this year. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies for this time because it's a couple, an Orthodox couple in Israel going through Sukkot and the funny things that happen, the sad thing, the struggle, the miracle, seeing God's hand, everything wrapped into one. It's a really cute little movie. So, and I think you can
Okay.
like get it on YouTube, rent it or whatever. But yeah, we watch it every year for Sukkot. It's
We're
so
hearing a
fun.
lot of people. We watch it every year. Doing fun things. This is one of my favorite things to us. It talks about having, it even gives you like a stuffed food menu, doing stuffed foods. Your kids, by the way, making little we're not going to call them pigs in the blanket. They call them everything kosher. Yeah, pig in a blanket. And then they throw that, a little, and then wrap it and then put everything seasoning on it. Fun little stuff to do. But anyways, so you
That's
have lots of
cute.
options. We want to just give you options of all the things. This is a really good option. We are the down, you could go and download that PDF and you could do it and hurry up and go shopping or go shopping on Sunday and you'd have all your Stakot food. You can get our cookbook. I think that's good. I don't think that that's too far from I can do a segue here. Going into Ha'azinu, as we go into this, the thing about this is that this is preparing for, it's still about preparation. He's saying this is what's going to happen. And so we need to prepare for what's going to happen. And that's what Sukkot is all about, right? We're preparing for the eternity with our Father. We're
Hmm.
preparing, we're looking back and saying we're thankful for what you did for us. But the part of this is a rehearsal, right? For going forward. And this is the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is us preparing for that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I love because the fact of the matter is that it talks about God's relationship with the people during that time, and it talks about how He knows what's going to happen, and
Mm.
he's very aware, but He still thinks we're worth it to go
Oh,
through it. And so that preparation, all these things that we're doing, excuse me, all those things that we're doing to prepare now for the feast and everything, it's like practice for us as we continue this journey where we're coming out of Yom Kippur, we're coming out of, that hard time of wrestling with God and really just trying to continue that path of growth in
yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
to reach that, to reach the perfect man that he says, when that's going to happen. It's this constant growth. It's this constant learning. It's this constant, striving forward to continue getting closer to him. And when you look
Yes.
at all of these things, and when you look at this parsha portion and all that kind of stuff, everything is everything is geared towards us returning to the garden, us returning
Everything.
to that. Everything, all of the stuff that we're doing, the all of these, the feasts and the preparation and all this stuff. That what he's talking about here, he's talking about let the people know so that they don't forget, so that when they go through life, because life is going to throw you a million and one curveballs, and stuff is going to be nice and stuff is going to be not so nice, and sometimes you're going to be mad at God, and sometimes you're going to go through all these things, and he's
Yeah.
saying let them know so that they don't forget. And the great thing is that he's like, and let your kids know,
Yeah. I like
because
that. Let
they
your
haven't
kids know.
experienced the things that you have. And one of the things that I'm really coming to grips with right now in my life, in this season of motherhood, is how hard it is to understand that you have to let your kids go through their things so that they can have their own experience with God, so that they can have that. They have to experience their own Abraham thing, the same way we experience our own Abraham thing. When Abraham comes into covenant with God, and when he comes and he decides to make that, he says, okay, I'm going to trust that what you're saying, and I'm going to walk on the words that you're saying. He had to come to that realization himself. Isaac didn't do that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Isaac received the benefits of Abraham doing that. And then Isaac had to go through his own thing. And
Mm-hmm.
Jacob had to go through his own thing. So all this stuff that we're doing, when God is coming here, and he uses really hard language, like when you're saying it's not your favorite portion and stuff, like
Yeah. It's
he
hard
uses, like,
language. Yeah.
it's raw, and
Yes.
God goes, straight to the point. There's no kind of pussyfooting around the whole situation. He goes straight
Mm-hmm.
to it, and
Mm-hmm.
he's letting us know things are going to get hard and stuff, but it's all for a reason, and you're worth going through all of this with, you know.
Yes. And he goes in, and I love in 32, 39, I think it is. This is he says, 30, see now that I am he. There are no other gods before me. But this is I love this verse. I bring death and give life. I have wounded but will heal. There's
Mhm.
hope. He always leaves us with hope. He always says that even though these are going to happen, I already know you're going to do all this stuff. I already know this is what's going to happen. I was talking about this, I think yesterday in our 119 class. We are talking about, you know, you have free will. You can do all these things. He's showing I already know what your choice is going to be. So is it free? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can spin around in your tail on that one. But the bottom line is you think you have free will. So let's just say that. I feel like I have free will. Like I can choose right this second to do something super crazy. I can choose something that isn't accordance to what I know is going to bring life to our family or to myself or my body. It's like I know I can eat a donut right now if I want to. I'm not going to spend eternity in Sheol if go eat a donut. But what I do know is going to happen, I'm going to be bloated. I'm going to be ouchy. My joints are going to hurt. I'm going to be tired and lethargic. I'm not going to be able to do the things I want to do. So I have free will to make those choices. However, he is sovereign. So he's in control of the consequence.
I think it's an issue of, we do have free will. We totally have free will.
Hmm.
But when we come into covenant with God, we give that up. It's
That's
not a
good.
question of whether we have it or not. We all
Yeah.
have it.
We have it, but
but
we
but
give it
we
up. It's like throwing your
but we
crown
give it
down.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we give it up, and we say, okay, I could choose to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm choosing to let you steer the boat
Right.
and not me.
Well, and what's beautiful in this is the part B of that is even when we do choose the things, you've done these things and he's in charge of that consequence. He ultimately is sovereign. So I have a friend I have two friends were in car accidents out of high school. One of them died. One of them three. One of them made it through with just barely a scratch. Same tip, same kind of but the third, and they all were like out drinking, doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. The third one, the consequence was he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Mhm.
God's in control. What's going to happen with a consequence. So we don't know what he's going to allow as the consequence and what he's sovereign. And he's going to allow all these things to happen. What he's saying is it's some of it he may cause, but some of it he's just allowing. It's kind of like back to the serpents. He didn't cause the serpents to go in and get them. He just lifted up the glass window. So now it's like, okay, I'm going to stop protecting you and let you see what I've been protecting you from. Same thing here. You're going to go do all this stuff. So I'm going to stop protecting you from all this stuff that is happening in the world. It's going to affect you. There will be consequences. It's not going to be good, but still I will heal.
Mm-hmm.
But still I'm going to heal. Yes. And she says, yes, I lift up my hand from the heaven and say, as I myself live forever, when I sharpen my lightning sword and my hand seizes in the judgment, I will return. He's going to go against his foes. He's going to take care of people. I mean, he's going to do all these things, but at the same time, he says, I will heal. Yeah. I
And you
love
know
that.
that in that verse in 39 where it says there are no other gods beside me, we read that, but we need to, I think, realize that
Mm,
there's nothing beside him. There's nothing
period.
that compares to him. There's nothing, and we you know we different religions and everything will say, oh well, we're in the God of this and that. They do not exist. There is nothing there. You know that like the magnitude of that statement is like, you know, we tend to think, oh well, these are lesser gods or these. There's nothing there. He's standing alone. He is, you know, he is one. Echad. There's nothing else beside him. That's it.
Yeah. And when we
You
and the
know,
devil is not his adversary. They're not equals.
no,
They're not equals.
he created him. You know, it's
He is God.
that idea, because sometimes it's hard for us to understand. He created good, but he also created bad. Everything comes from him
Well, if you think about it in the
for
first
his
day of creation,
purpose.
he separated light and darkness. He
Hmm.
separated good and evil. He's separated.
Yeah, because he's the one who created it.
Yeah. It
It's
just is,
him.
it's so big
You
that
know.
if we really sat in it, like you're saying, and really just say, like, I mean, we're going to come back around the end of the year here. We're saying it's all about the sovereignty of God. He is
Hmm.
it. He's it. If we truly grasp the magnitude of that, what can shake us? We wouldn't be afraid. We would be in that emunah life. We would be so grateful, even in the bad things, because we know he's in control. If you truly know he's in control, like you did when you were little, and we've talked about this too this year, is, you know, we didn't worry about the lights being turned on. We didn't worry about if we were going to have food. We didn't know how to pay the taxes. We didn't know about, you know, how to get the mail somewhere. It just happened because we were little. Our parents were sovereign in our life. It just, those things happened. We got in a car. We didn't know. They didn't give us a map and said, here's the map and we're going to do these stops. You just got in the car and they said, get in the car at this time. And you just knew you're going to go somewhere
Hmm.
because you trusted that that's being that can we get there this year? Can we grow so much that we really, even if a little, if we could inch forward a little bit more on the sovereignty, he's God. He's God only, period. Capital G. The other little G's are created by us and we're like, me. No,
Yeah.
we are the only idol. We are created in his image. We are the image bearer. We're the, he said he put us in here. We've talked about this. Some of the translations say we are his idol. We're the idol of
Hmm.
him. We're the, we are the replica of him. That's it.
Hmm.
That's the only thing that's close.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
That's
God.
that's a
It's
and
heavy.
so to hear him speak in this passage, it's kind of hard because, you know, for a long time, or you'll hear people say like, oh, you know, I pray and I want to hear God speak to me, but I don't hear him speak, you know, and you kind of wonder, well, you know, God speak to me, God speak to me. When God chooses to open his mouth and say something, are you really ready to hear it? Because he's not going to pull any punches and he's going to let you know what's up.
Yes. I had this conversation with Brenda last week. We were talking about this and we're laughing because there was a one time we went to this lady and she was a prophetess and you know when we used to all chase around and find a word. I want a word, you know. Who I want God to tell me something. So we go to this lady, you know, and we're sitting there, we're praying and everything and she comes and then Brenda's like, "Oh, I want to get a word. Hopefully she'll tell me something." And she looked at her and says, "God said for me to tell you. I'm not saying anything else to you because you haven't done the last thing I told you."
You're
Like
like,
oops.
mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything else. You haven't done the last thing I told you. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So you're a musician. This is a song. What do you think this song sounds like?
It's definitely in a minor key, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely in a minor key.
But it's so interesting that you say that because it's so different, right? Because in our culture,
Mhm.
songs are made to rhyme and songs are made to have like, a melody and this and that. And in that culture, we have to understand that it wasn't so much about rhyming words, it was about rhyming ideas.
Yeah, good. That's good. It's a good thought. Yeah.
So it's more a concept. So if you'll look, you'll see he'll say something one way and then he'll say the same thing in a different way, but it's the same concept. And that's kind of
Mm.
the structure, but that's based on culturally they would see this and they'd be like, "Oh yeah,
That
that's
rhymes.
beautiful," or whatever.
It
That's
rhymes.
beautiful, or
Yeah. Yeah.
and we'd be like, "I don't get it." Have you ever heard a song and you just like, "I don't get it." I just, I've had that happen. I've had that happen with worship music where sometimes it'll have to be a certain time in my life where I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I don't get that song." Like I just don't connect. And then I'll be going through something. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is like sent straight from heaven.
This
Like
is
this
the
is perfect."
song.
Yes, it connected me. I just shot straight to the heavens with this song. But then other times I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't get it." Like, you like it, okay, but I don't. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it for us, it has more to do with melody. It has more to do with rhyming words, and for them, it's rhyming concepts. It's a much more, I think, in a sense, it's a little bit more sophisticated. You know, we're like cat and hat. Yeah, that rhymes.
Yeah.
That's good for the
That's
song.
exactly what I was
And they're
thinking
like,
of. The cat put on the hat.
but
Yeah.
here it's more
And laid
about
down on the
concepts.
mat. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have to tell you, this has been kind of a living room chat today. Uh, one time I was sitting at a church and I was sitting at the church and they were playing this acoustic. They just had the guy's it was acoustic. It was um it doesn't matter what church it was. It was they're playing he was playing a guitar and I think a guy might have had like the little box like for drums, like the drum box. I don't know what you call that.
Hmm.
He had that. Maybe I can't
Cajon.
remember. What's it called?
Cajon.
Okay, so and I maybe yeah, that I'm not really sure. And then they had a girl singing, but the girl was singing just the like the harmony, right? So it's very hippie, I would say, a little hippie music, a little bit, but it was very acoustic. It was a very acoustic, and I was in this that my I was in my phase when I was really mad at God. I was so mad, and the only reason I was going is because my husband had just gotten radically saved, and he was that guy. Yes, and I'm just like we were quite the couple. And he was so like brand new, born again. And I'm just like, oh, wait till you see what they're going to do to you. Wait, you'll see. It's not that great, you know? And I'll tell you, well, before I got there, so here's me. He was the guy, imagine the prodigal son. And the vision that I had was he's in the big house, like not like a big house. I kept thinking of like Australia, where they have the wraparound porches. That's what the vision looked like to me. It was like those in Australia, like, and God is like dad sitting on the porch in a rocking chair. And my my husband was the son who just gotten born again. He was so excited. And he's running room to room. Oh, look at this. Did you see this? Oh my gosh, look at this. And he's running, and I'm walking down the road like the prodigal. I'm walking down the road going, oh, I have to come back. I know I have to come back because he's in there acting like a crazy. I have to come back because I can't hinder him. And I'm watching him like, and God's just like, come here, honey. Just come on. It'll be fine. Just come on. And I'm just like one step at a time down this dirt road, looking at my husband run, room to room, how exciting it is. And I'm like, it's not exciting. You're gonna wait until you see what really happens. Oh, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. So that's one story. But when I was sitting in this, that's where I was when I'm sitting in this, my husband's like, in this acoustic guitar, and I'm sitting there and I was like, this is so dumb. I hate this song. I hate this music. This music is not even good. And literally, God spoke to me in my heart so loud, like not audibly, but in my heart so loud. And this is what he said. Rebecca, ready? He says, sometimes I like this channel. Done. Sometimes I like this channel. I imagine him up like on a throne, like turning the radio, like, oh, I like when they sing this. And then he turns over and, oh, I like this in Spanish. Oh, no, let's. He's like, sometimes I like, and I was just cracking up. I'm like, oh yeah, it's not about me. It's not about if
Hmm.
I like it or not. So the What does that have to do with anything? Anybody? Let me see how I can pull this in. I can't. Just can't. You guys, we're done. I mean, really, I want you to spend time in this. It is a song. The other song we have is from Miriam's song, and now we have his song. We're going to see him. Moshe, spend some time in this last one this next week. Just spend some time in the next parsha of the end of Moshe's life. It's really cool, saying nobody knows where he's buried. Um, did he get buried? I mean, it says he was buried, but he dies. We know later, Yeshua, meets him on a mountain, right? And he's transfigured and he's there. I don't know. Is he brought back? Is it like a time machine and he's really back there? And I don't know how that works. But just take some time in this because it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Even the parts that are scary, you're like, wow, this could be really bad. I want you to see the things that he's saying. Here Moshe died because he finished his purpose. That's one of the things about being 120 is saying that you finished your purpose, you finished your calling. That's the thing about 120, right? He finished it. His eyes weren't dim. He had all of his vigor, which could mean all his, he was not worn out. He was not, I'm sure he could probably, beat me up. He could beat me in a race. He was just like, it wasn't he died because he was sick. He was just
No.
done.
Mm-hmm.
And we can all say it wasn't fair. Okay, fair is not a fruit of the spirit. So um we don't know what he got more. He got to be in the garden.
But I will say, I mean, if you take a look at it, he does end up inside the land.
Right?
Go look it up. I'll just leave it there. That's a little Easter egg you can go kind
Oh,
of
go
look up.
find it.
But
Yeah, go find it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He
because
does.
you're like, wait a minute. But one thing I do want to point out on this chapter that I found interesting is in verse 6. And in verse 6 it says, "Is this how you pay back Adonai, O
Mm,
foolish, unwise people? Isn't he your father who ransomed you? He made you and established you." And the one thing that really called my attention in this is the fact that the idea of God as father is it tends to be a very New Testament idea.
mm,
And here we're seeing it referenced in the Old Testament. And for me, that was really important because to me, it proves the continuity of God and who he is and how he hasn't changed. And he's always been our father. There are
yeah.
certain terms that when you look at them, you immediately think New Testament, oh, this happened starting in Matthew and on. And when you see this here, he's talking to you. He's like, isn't he your father? Like, didn't he ransom you? Do you not know who you're dealing with? And it's pointing to him. And when you think of the father, that it mentions him as father. And one thing that you'll see referenced over and over and over again is the fact that he called himself the rock, that he is the rock. And when you think about it, those two things speak to me about stability
Yeah.
and about
Oh,
not moving and
yes.
about who he is. And so even though the words that he's using here are really hard words to hear and to listen to, it's really kind of like a mirror
Mm,
of saying, this is the potential of what you can be,
yeah.
of how far you can get away. And
Yeah.
I'm letting you know this is how bad it can be. You can have parasites coming out of your eyes. In other words,
It can be
like this
it
is
can be bad.
it can be bad.
Mm,
But I'm the father who ransomed. Like, do you not know who you're dealing with? I'm there, and I think you're worth it to go through all of this with because I love you and I've ransomed you. You're mine. And just because I get upset with you doesn't mean I throw you away like yesterday's garbage.
mm.
You know.
Yeah, because you might hurt, but I'm gonna heal.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this. So
Mhm.
be encouraged. Be encouraged, all of you. We won't be here to be like, Hazak, Hazak, be courageous, be courageous. Don't fear. We're excited to see you next year. We get to next year. We'll get to see you next
Yeah.
cycle. We're going to see you after. We'll be right back into Genesis. So exciting. I encourage you, those of you who haven't listened to Bema, this is a good time to start it and to get to understand some differences there. That's a fun challenge to get into. Another fun one is the Bible Project. They do a good job with Genesis. starting creation gospel. Great job with Genesis, is going through that first creation week. I tease my husband. He can't get out of, he's, I think, in Genesis 4 in 3 years. He can't get out of Genesis. So, uh, I'm like, hey, did you get to, how many verses did you get to? He goes, I had to go back to chapter 2. And so it's like the joke now. He's not leaving Genesis. He refuses. So be blessed, all of you. I'm excited to see your pictures about what you're going to be doing. Just do something and just remember the Shabbats to rest during those times. If you don't get to do it this year, you can do it better next year. Next year, just make sure you plan to take the days off. Make sure you plan to not have things scheduled. You have time. You'll get better at it every year. And he loves you that you just even want to get better at it. So join us. For those of you who are on Facebook, you're still welcome to hop over. We're going to be doing our after party here for a little bit, and then I have to pack my little trailer. But come and join us over there. It's been a blessing. This year has been a blessing. Rebecca, thank you. It's been a blessing to serve with
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, it has been a true joy and an
It's
honor.
been fun. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the Father does this year for all of us. And I'll see you guys.
Amen.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks when we come back. For those of you that are get over there and get in the Ruta Cafe. You have time to go through and check it out in a 7-day trial. Those of you who get ready, because we're going to this next conference is going to be good. I'm excited for that as we're preparing that for you. So be blessed.
Yeah, I got to sit in on Simi's last night. It was so good.
So
It was
good.
so
Oh,
good.
she does healing
When I
at
get
the
a chance
well
to,
every month. It's
yeah.
so good. So good. So good. All right, ladies. Love you all. Mean it. You are loved, loved, loved.
Yes.